Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this online event hosted by the Thames Valley branch of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. My name is Eddie Griffin. I'm the Public Relations Officer for the branch, and I'm delighted to host two eminent speakers this evening, Charles Ho Wang Mak and Dr. Joseph Mante. Charles Ho Wang Mak is a lecturer in law at the Law School of Robert Gordon University. He is also a fellow at the Transatlantic Technology Forum at Stanford University and a research affiliate at Sovereign Net within the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at Tufts University. His academic and professional work spans multiple institutions, reflecting a deep commitment to dispute resolution and technology policy. Dr. Joseph Mante serves as a principal lecturer and researcher at the Law School of Robert Gordon University. He is recognised as a Senior Fellow of Advanced HE, denoting his significant contributions to higher education, research and leadership. Dr. Mante's academic pursuits and professional expertise are well respected, particularly in the sphere of arbitration and dispute resolution. Now, for those who wish to put questions to the speakers, can you please put your questions into the Q&A box, and we'll deal with it at the end of the meeting. We'll have a quick roundup of those questions. So now, without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Joseph, who will speak. Thank you very much, Joseph.
Thank you very much, Eddie, and thank you to the organizers for the opportunity to present to the House our research on blockchain. If I have your permission, I will share my screen right away so you have access to the slides I'll be speaking to. Hopefully you can all see my screen.
We can see.
So thank you very much, Eddie, and to the organizers for inviting us over to share our research in this very important emerging area of practice and research. So our topic today is on blockchains and smart contracts and how these technologies have the potential to revolutionize mediation. In terms of the basis of this research, we have been at it for a while, trying to investigate the possibilities around merging these technological potentials with the concept of dispute resolution. And the recent product of our collaboration was published in the Asian Journal on Mediation recently in, I think, November or December 2023. So it's quite a recent publication. You'll see that publication is on blockchain and smart contracts. And the same question we are asking here, we asked that question from a very academic perspective, and we answered it. I should say that if you look on screen, there is a link to that article, at least a copy of it that you can access in case that would be of interest to you. So what has been the basis of our research? We have come to this research from the point that every new invention tends to receive some kind of resistance. And if you are in the legal profession or any other profession, you will be familiar with some of the resistance that the technologies we have become very used to today received when they were first introduced. My mind goes to history. When the printing press was invented, Johann Gutenberg was literally persecuted for inventing the printing press. When you look at the invention of the telephone, similar resistance was met. And if we look at perhaps a bit relatively modern inventions like the internet, the World Wide Web, and the emails that we have become so used to today, when they came, I remember very well when the email became popular, one of the accusations was that they were very impersonal and they were not very good for business, because in business you want to at least have a feel of the person on the other side. However, if we look back on history and we look at where we are now, these technologies have absolutely gained the trust of our professions. And the email in particular is interesting because it coincided with when adjudication, for instance, construction adjudication, for instance, was introduced. And from my research, the introduction of construction adjudication was successful in part because the emails facilitated the movement of very heavy materials or information which we previously couldn't have done. And it is in the same spirit that we come to our research. Our research is premised on two key points: recent technological advancements and innovation, and secondly, the shift in dispute resolution paradigms as a result of recent events like the COVID pandemic. We will all remember that in the course of the pandemic, humanity was forced or literally compelled to resort to technology to overcome some of the challenges of the pandemic, for instance, isolation. And even the most traditional professions, like the legal profession, began to open up to technology. I'm aware that both in litigation and arbitration, we had opportunity to have online hearings and have some of the processes conducted online. And so our argument essentially is that these technologies and the recent changes that we are experiencing in the realm of dispute resolution offers opportunities. What kind of opportunities are we looking at? Innovative ways of resolving disputes, innovative ways of avoiding disputes. And so that is the backdrop of our research. And tonight, we are focusing on one very specific technology as against one very specific dispute resolution mechanism. So in terms of the technology, we are looking at the twin technology of blockchain and smart contracts. So that's for the technology side of things. And in terms of the dispute resolution side of things, we are looking specifically at mediation. And so in this presentation, I'll be introducing these technologies and looking at some of the benefits, general benefits that we can derive from these technologies for the broader area of dispute resolution. And then I will hand over to my colleague, Charles, who will look specifically at how these technologies can aid the mediation process. I should say right from the onset that for now, our position is not looking at complete automation of the process. We are looking at process automation, which can help the mediator move the process faster than we do now if we do it manually with minimum support from technology. So without much ado, I'll move on straight to introduce the concept of blockchain technology and smart contracts. So what is blockchain? I'm sure everyone here would have heard a bit about blockchain and is probably as bewildered as many in the profession are. I have construction law background, and so I deal with a lot of construction professionals. I deal with a lot of engineers. I deal with a lot of quantity surveyors, and I'm a lawyer by profession, over 20 years in the industry. So I'm familiar with the field that professionals have when some of these technology or the terms associated with technology are introduced. So I have tried to explain blockchain in the simplest form as I can possibly do. And to do that is to see the blockchain essentially as a digital filing system. We're all familiar with the normal filing system, the traditional manual filing system and the electronic filing system introduced by the computer. But when you talk about blockchain, it is modeled along similar lines. It's an electronic ledger, but it does very specific things which are very intriguing. It records information, it encrypts the information, and then it timestamps the information and ensures smooth and seamless distribution of the information. The term blockchain itself is not mystical at all. It derives from the process by which information is stored on this system we are referring to here. And essentially, information is fed to a network of computers. And the network of computers has a mechanism by which the information fed is hashed. And the term hash simply means that information is converted to encrypted codes. So essentially, you can visualize this as producing information in the language we are familiar with, and that information being translated into machine language codes. And the codes are then categorized into blocks of data. So for instance, if I feed information on a particular process of mediation onto the system, that information is encrypted, given a unique key, and then put into what we will call a block. And then I move on to another level where I feed another set of information to the system. The same process is done, and what happens is that the blocks created are then chained together and protected by a special password. And so if you want to feed information to the system, you will need a special permission, or what we call authentication, to feed that information in. And how do you get that authenticated? You get authenticated by resorting to what we call the public key infrastructure. And that public key infrastructure then allows this individual, or the one who is engaging with the blockchain, to generate a pair of keys. One public, which is used in encrypting the information, and one private. And every public information, or every public information fed to the network of computers, can be accessed by the one who did that only if they have the corresponding private key, which was generated at the point of imputing the information. And to summarize this, the technical bit, I will say that it is a fundamental, what we have called a foundational technology. A foundational technology in the sense that it sort of revolutionized how we save data, not just keeping the data on a system, but making the data more engaging and giving us options to engage with the data in a safer and more secure way. And I should say that our industry, the dispute resolution industry, is not the only industry that is engaging with the blockchain technology. The finance sector is very familiar with the blockchain technology. We all know the cryptocurrencies and how popular they have become, but it is not just the finance industry. The insurance industry, the property management industry, and healthcare is also investing heavily in the blockchain. And as you can see on screen, the blockchain can be centralized or decentralized. Most of the time, many of us are not familiar with the centralized, because the centralized is essentially very similar to what the other databases that we are familiar with. When we talk about blockchains, often it is associated with the peer-to-peer sharing of information, and so it's referenced to the decentralized type of blockchain. And I should say or add immediately that you will not be wrong when you ask, Joseph, okay, so all you've said is introduce us to a fancy digital filing system. What's so unique about this? And what is unique is the fact that this blockchain technology has the ability to merge with what we call the smart contract. And the smart contract technology is what has actually made the blockchain technology such an innovation, because the smart contract is able to execute certain programs or instructions that can be automated. So for instance, as mediators, we can automate certain information and the smart contract will carry out that or perform that duty without our involvement. And so it is the introduction of smart contracts which has made the blockchain an exciting technology. So what then are smart contracts? For those who are unfamiliar with law, smart contract essentially is a computer program that executes a computer instruction, or if you like, a computer instruction fed to the program automatically without human intervention. And for many professionals who deal with the technical side of things, they tend to associate the smart contract simply with the definition of being a computer program. However, from the literature, this is not as simple as it sounds. The smart contract is not just a computer program. And so if you have a legal background and you are looking at this from a legal perspective, then you'll be wondering, why will a smart contract simply be a computer program? And so from the legal perspective, smart contract is more than just a computer program. It is a program that carries legal obligations and is able to help either partly or fully automate that the terms of that obligation and help in the execution of that obligation. And this debate has raged on to a point where the Law Commission has intervened. The Law Commission has done some work in this area and has assisted in distinguishing between what we call smart contracts, being computer programs, and smart legal contracts. So smart contracts then is, if you like, the broader terminology, and smart legal contracts is, if you like, a subset of the wider smart contract as we know it. And what then is the definition of smart legal contract? Smart legal contract refers to a computer program that has translated information from a natural, or if you like, a natural language generated agreement, which we will all be familiar with, into a computer language and fed onto the system to enable it to execute the transaction seamlessly and automatically. And so that is where things are. If you combine the smart contract with the blockchain, what you have is a technology that is able to execute some of the activities that we normally engage in manually as professionals, with some, if I will call, more proficiency and excellence than we will do manually. So what are the advantages that these technologies offer us as professionals? And I will give the generic advantages, but I'm sure Charles will give a bit more detail on that when he starts presenting very shortly. So some of the advantages are that these technologies will free our time to focus on the more serious issues of dispute resolution and conflict avoidance. and it will enhance how we carry out our responsibilities. It will cut down on the time we spend on some of the activities we engage in as dispute resolution professionals. And more importantly, on the technical side, it often helps us to ensure that the terms that are agreed are certain. It leaves very little room for, if you like, ambiguity. And so the consequence of that will be helping to avoid disputes in the long run. And again, the information is available on the blockchain. One advantage of the blockchain is transparency and immutability. What essentially means is that whatever information you feed onto the blockchain, there is a historical trail. And so everybody sees how the process has been conducted, and it ensures that there is no bias, or if there is a bias or any perceived bias, it can be seen from the chain of information that is fed to the system. So basically, what we are doing is not in isolation. There are processes, or there are, if you like, what we call frameworks, legal frameworks in place to address some of these things we are describing here. For instance, the JAMS smart contract suite of contracts are available to help professionals like us to either advise or even help in resolving disputes which emerge from some of these technological advancements. So here, JAMS in particular focuses on the disputes which emerge from the use of these technologies. But when you look at the digital dispute resolution rules developed by the UK Jurisdiction Task Force in 2021, they have two different perspectives on the process we are discussing. They look at how to resolve dispute resolution, how to resolve disputes emerging or arising from these new technologies, but they also seek to leverage these technologies to enhance the process of dispute resolution. So not only do they have rules or framework for resolving the disputes, but they also adopt or utilize the technology to help in resolving the disputes. And it is precisely this that we think will definitely be useful to this industry. And this is where our research sits. So without going any further, I will hand over to Charles to take us into the specific elements of mediation and the blockchain and smart contracts. Thank you very much. Charles, I will stop sharing and Charles will share his screen so he will be able to control the slides from his end. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Joseph. Can anyone see my slides? I just shared my slides. Can you see that?
Yes, we can see that.
So thank you so much, Joseph. So let's talk about how blockchain and smart contract can be used in mediations. So when we bring blockchain technology and smart contract into the traditional mediations, we will get a fresh and innovative way to resolve disputes. So as Joseph said, blockchain uses decentralized ledgers, which means it keeps a clear and unchangeable record of transactions, which ensures fairness and stops anyone from tampering with the records. So smart contract add another layers of reliability because they automatically carry out contractual duties when certain conditions are met, so which reduces the chances of disagreements and speed up the resolution process. So by using blockchain and smart contract in mediations, we will get several benefits. For example, more transparency, better security, and increased efficiency. So which approach can make mediations more effective and streamlined. So mediations comes in various styles and approach to resolve disputes, as we all know. So each with its unique characteristics. So which include facilitative and evaluative mediations. So the most commonly used form is facilitative mediations. So here, the mediator guides the process but allows the parties to keep control over the outcomes. So this approach lets the parties explore creative solutions within the boundaries set by the mediator. So the jobs of the mediator in the facilitative model is to ask questions that help the parties to express their underlying interest and motivations. So this helps them understand each other's perspective better and find common ground. So on the other hand, evaluative mediations is where the mediator takes a more active role in guiding the process. So in this style, the mediator gives opinions on the strengths and weaknesses of each party's case and controls how and when the parties interact. So this approach can be especially helpful in a situation where there is an uneven power dynamic between the parties. So by offering an objective assessment of the situations and facilitating the communications, the mediator can help to balance the power and promote a fair and equitable resolution. So I'll use both facilitative and evaluative mediation styles to illustrate how blockchain and smart contract can be integrated into the process. So blockchain technology can improve mediations in many ways. For example, when choosing a mediator, blockchain can keep a decentralized list of certified mediators. So this list can include detailed about their qualifications, experiences, and past performances. So it can help in picking mediators who have expertise in specific subjects. So people can even sign up automatically, choose a mediator with certain qualities. And this approach will help make the selection process more transparent and easier for everyone involved. And furthermore, using smart contract when signing the mediation agreement can make the whole process smoother. So once the terms and the conditions of the mediations are agreed upon, the different rights, obligations, and activities can be coded into a contract, a smart contract. So each activity can then be triggered by a specific verified steps. And so let's talk about the mediation process. First, the blockchain technology can really enhance the mediations by providing a secured and transparent way to record and track everything that happens in the mediations process. All the communications between the parties, any proposed settlements and final agreements can be timestamps and stored on the blockchain. So which ensure the complete transparency and prevent anyone from denying what has been said or agreed upon. So as a result, everyone involved can trust the integrity of the trust process and the final outcome. So by using the unique features of blockchain technologies, mediations can become a more secured, efficient, and transparent, as mentioned. So secondly, in evaluative mediations, smart contract can be very useful in ensuring fairness and transparency. Beyond the benefits already mentioned, the mediator's recommendations or evaluations can be written into a smart contract, creating a permanent record of their assessment. So this level of transparency helps to ensure that the mediator is not biased or favoring one party over another. And thirdly, smart contract can create an escrow service within the mediations. So in cases where there are disposed funds, a smart contract can securely hold these funds until the mediation process is complete. So once the agreement is reached, the smart contract can automatically release the funds to the rightful party based on the agreed terms. So this removes the need for a traditional third-party escrow service and lowers the risk of fraud or mistakes. So by using the unique features of smart contracts, evaluation mediations can become more secure and transparent, which can promote a fairness in the dispute resolution. And furthermore, some platform actually like Ethereum can offer decentralized dispute resolution mechanism that resolve dispute from mediations agreements quickly and efficiently. So this blockchain-based mechanism can be more cost-effective than the traditional legal process, and making it more attractive options for parties looking to resolve disputes promptly and affordably. And blockchain technology can securely store the digital evidence in the mediations by providing a secured and unchangeable repository for the digital evidence. The blockchain ensures the mediators and parties have access to the uncorrupt data and evidence, so which enhances the credibility and accuracy of the evidence used in the mediations, promoting a fairness and resolving the dispute. And so let's talk about the future directions for multi-step blockchain-based dispute resolution. So the proposed blockchain infrastructure could be adopted in a multi-step resolution process. For example, for parties using the blockchain and smart contract technology in mediations, there is no need to worry about what happens next if the mediation fails and the dispute needs to go to arbitrations. So the same infrastructure or a variation of it, like the blockchain-based online multi-step dispute resolution process proposed by some scholars, can facilitate the smoother transactions and from mediations to online arbitrations. And so online platform like Clearos can be used as an example. They allows a smooth, swift shift from mediation to arbitration using smart contract. So this platform can be automatically enforce rulings and distribute tokens to jurors or as an incentive for fair voting during the arbitrations. So such platform will streamline the conflict resolution and add to the level of transparency, efficiency, and justice, which will align well with the fundamental values of various dispute resolution process. So building on the previous point about multi-tiered online dispute resolution process, it is plausible that the online dispute resolution can be decentralized. While still in their early stage, decentralized dispute resolution systems are set to expand with the growing numbers of the digital transactions and the evolving global economy. However, it's really important to note that despite claims of the efficiency and the market-based approach of settling dispute, decentralized dispute process also presents a significant challenges regarding the communal deliberations and the common interest. And the very features that make a blockchain a tool for these intermediations could also be its limitations, especially when collective actions require compromise rather than distribute consensus. So these evolving systems demand a rethink of the legal practice, raising concerns about how distributed justice might provide a shared good and a sense of justice for the community. So, one of the significant advantages of smart contract is cost savings, which are achieved by removing a secured and private environment for dispute resolution, making them ideal and sensible for high-stake dispute. So with smart contract in the mediations, the future of dispute resolution is quite promising and bright. So while integrating the blockchain technology and the smart contract into the mediation process offers many potential advantages, it's really essential to acknowledge the challenges and obstacles that this transaction will bring. So for example, technological innovations, despite its transformative potential, does not come within the share of the difficulties. So one of the most common challenges is the legal ambiguity surrounding the smart contract. In many countries, the legal standing of smart contract is not fully defined, which can create significant problems for their use in mediations. For example, if a dispute arises in the execution of smart contract, it is unclear how a court could handle it due to the lack of established legal framework and precedents. On the issues, the work done by the English Law Commissions is illuminating, which attempts to bring more clarity to these questions by distinguishing the smart contract from smart legal contract. So smart legal contract will be regarded without the questions as a legal contract and will be expected to meet the basic requirements for valid contract under the English law. So in other words, parties using blockchain and smart contract technology to resolve the dispute must understand that the process will carry legal implications. So the enforceability of these agreements will also becomes an issue of just in jurisdictions where the legal status of smart contract is unclear. So this kind of uncertainty can deter the parties from choosing to use the smart contract in mediations, since they might fear the potential legal complexities that could arise. So another challenge is getting everyone to agree to use this technology. Since blockchain and smart contract mediations are still quite new, not everyone might feel comfortable using them. So they could make some hesitant to move away from the traditional methods of mediations that they know well. So this hesitation could come from not fully understanding the technology or from worries about the security risk that might come with blockchain. So therefore, getting everyone involved in the mediation process to accept and adopt this technology is a big hurdle that needs to be addressed. And also there are some significant technological difficulties in developing and using the smart contract. Creating and running a smart contract requires specific technical skills and infrastructure, which might not be easily available. The technology is complex, and any errors in the code can cause major errors later on. So using a smart contract needs a certain level of digital literacy, which not everyone might have. So while the parties in mediations and the mediators might agree on terms and process, they might not have the digital skills to translate their agreement into the necessary computer programming language. They might have relied on the technical expert who understands the coding, but not the law. So in such cases, part of the agreement might get lost in the translations, both literally and figuratively. So these technical difficulties can be a significant barrier to the widespread of use of smart contract and mediations. Also, privacy concerns can pose a major challenges. Mediations often involve sharing sensitive information. So using blockchain technology and smart contract raise questions about data privacy and compliances with relevant laws and regulations. For example, how can technology ensure the sensitive information is protected? How does it comply with the data protection regulations like the GDPR in the EU? Addressing these privacy concerns is really essential to building a trust and a confidence in the technology, which is crucial for its successful adoptions in mediations. And also, one big question is whether these smart contracts can handle larger scale disputes efficiently and cost effectively. So far, blockchain and smart contract have worked well in smaller applications, but as the numbers of transactions and the complexity of smart contract grow, they need more computational resources to process them, so which can increase the cost and slow down the transaction times, which is a problem in mediations where timely resolution is crucial. So to sum up these slides, using blockchain-based smart contract in mediations offers a significant potential benefit. However, it's really important for us to recognize and tackle the associated challenges. So doing this will help to ensure that the successful adoptions of this technology and to improve the efficiency, transparency, and the fairness of the mediation process. The mediation process also included the mediator selection, as mentioned. So it's a really complex journey, but it has the potential to revolutionize the world of mediations. So let's talk about the possible solution to some of the key issues with smart contract and blockchain technology that I just mentioned. First, we need a clear legislation to define the legal standing of smart contract. Law should recognize and enforce this digital contract. The English Law Commission is already working on this. English law believe that the current law can adapt to these technological changes. So the common law system tends to develop rules gradually, as seen with the electronic transactions through the emails and the website. As you can see, the court has a very good interpretation of the Computer Misuse Act to 1987, I remember. So while this approach may suit the common law countries, civil law countries might prefer clear rules. Law can also offer guidelines on using and interpreting smart contract, giving the parties in the certainty they need to embrace this technology. Next, education is crucial to reduce the hesitation in adopting the new technology. Providing information about the benefits, risks, and the working of technology, such as the decentralization, encryptions, and the blockchain security, can help. So, which is also very important to highlight the successful track record of blockchain technology and the smart contract in various sectors. So digital literacy is another barrier, as mentioned. So many parties may lack the resources and expertise needed for blockchain technology. Providing a training, guides, and support service can help to overcome this. So governments and educational institutions can play a very key role in offering courses and workshops on blockchain technology and smart contracts. So this is similar to how internet literacy expanded over time. Data privacy is a major concern, as mentioned. Implementing the robust data privacy measures and complying with the relevant laws like the GDPR in EU is essential. So which includes using the advanced encryption technologies to protect the data on the blockchains and ensuring that only the authorized parties can access and modify it. Finally, we must address the scalability of blockchain technology and its growth. So the technology must handle more transactions without high cost, so which can involve improving the blockchain efficiency with the better consensus algorithms and developing off-chain solution to reduce the load of the network. So starting with a smaller centralized network managed by the trust expert can help the user experiment with the technology. So once the benefits are clear for the parties also involve not just the parties in dispute, also for the mediators. Scaling up to the decentralized system will be easier. So continuous research and development are very essential to meet the growing demand for this technology. And let's wrap up with the conclusion. So the integrations of the blockchain technology and the smart contract into the mediations offers exciting opportunities and unique challenges. However, it is promising because the potential benefits such as the increased transparency, faster dispute resolution, cost savings, enhanced accessibility, and the superior security. So to overcome these challenges, we need to collective effort from various stakeholders, including the legislators, educators like us, technology providers, and the users. So these challenges can be addressed through the clear legal framework, education, support for skills and infrastructure development, data privacy measures, and the continuous improvement of the system. So despite these potential hurdles, once properly harnessed, blockchain-based smart contract holds a transformative potential for the future of mediations. And that's the end of my presentation. And thank you so much. And yeah, thanks. I think we got questions.
Thank you very much for that, Charles and Joseph. That was great. Very much enjoyed that. So I'm just going to the question box. We've got a question from Alan Marr. And the question is, any use cases of using blockchain and smart contract in mediation? Any use cases? I'm not sure what that means. Are there any cases possibly? I'll leave you to answer that, Charles, if you can interpret what that means precisely. I'm not sure.
Okay. If I may take that on. Alan, thank you very much for that question. Essentially, as you will be aware, my understanding of the use cases is essentially, Alan is asking, have there been any examples of where these technologies have been used? And I think the examples we can cite will be in the area of arbitration, for instance. What we are doing is quite original. And for us as academics and also as practitioners, we tend to come from the theory to the practice. And we look at what has worked in other industries or related industries, and we apply it to our situation. So I can tell you for a fact that there are platforms delivering smart contracts-based dispute resolution in the area of, for instance, arbitration. Mediation is unique in the sense that, as Charles explained, it's more consensual than, if you like, rule-based. And so we are looking at mediation and saying to ourselves, if it's been done in these other areas, then it is possible to do it in mediation. Charles, and in RGU, we have a school of computing and we have the law school. We are currently collaborating on trying to put together what Alan is calling use case. And that will be an example of what we are discussing here in terms of how this technology works. And if I may add very quickly, I know there may be other questions. Our argument here is that for us as professionals in CR, it's not a question of whether we want to use some of these technologies or not. It's a question of when we begin to use it. And so it is important that we create that awareness and carry the audience along as the technology develops, if that makes sense. Alan, I hope I've answered your question. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Joseph. If there's any more questions in the box, I can't see any, but I just wanted to speak something myself, actually, if you don't mind, while I've got both your attention. Something we read and hear a lot about these days are the dangers of AI, especially with regard to fraud. You know, and they say that all they need now is 5 seconds of someone's voice recording, and they can, you know, almost get it to say anything. And apparently, there's something's going to come out in the news. There was a case where a company was defrauded of over $250 million recently, where a CEO was visually and audio impersonated by a fraudster. So, would it be fair to say that the possibility of having blockchain would be a great foil to the dangers of this sort of online fraud?
Okay. Again, I'll take. Eddie, you are muted, so we can hear you.
Can you hear? Did you hear my question? Sorry.
Yes, we heard your question.
Sorry, I thought you had. Okay.
Yes, and I think our write-up and the presentation captured this quite clearly. We are not presenting this as a shiny object, all good, nothing bad. If you look at our submission, actually we are asking a question. Is blockchain and smart contracts, or are these technologies game changers when it comes to mediation? And what we are pointing at is that there are enormous advantages we see with these technologies, and they've proved themselves, these technologies, in other areas in other industries, and there are enormous advantages here. One of the strengths of the blockchain system, centralized or decentralized, is the ability of that blockchain system to ensure that information is secure. And so a blockchain system which does not secure information is obviously what I would call contradiction in terms, because that is the strength of the system. And so, but as it is with every other system, even with the ironclad systems, there will be vulnerabilities. And that's why if the industry, for instance, the dispute resolution industry is getting into the use of these technologies, we will advise, as Charles noted, that we start off slowly, for instance, with a centralized blockchain system. And the advantage of the centralized blockchain system is that it's very easy to track all the users and the nodes that are accessing the information. And so you will be able to tell that somebody in London has accessed the information, even if it is anonymized. You will be able to track the information. So yes, we are aware that there is that element of fraud which applies to technology generally, but we can see, or we can foresee, improvements to the technology which will overcome some of these challenges. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that answer. Okay. I'm just going to check, are there any other? Oh, we have another. No, I can't see any more questions. Does anyone else have any other points to make? Give it a moment. No, I can't hear anything or see anything else coming through.
And the team has a comment in there. I think he's basically appreciating the fact that the CR will organize this session.
Yeah, and thank you so much for your kind words, James. Thank you so much.
It was kind words, yes, rather than a question, but it's pretty much appreciated. Thank you, Tim, for those for those words. Thank you. And well, Ishfaq, do you have anything to say, or do you want to add, or should we?
Yes, Eddie, before we go, let me make 2 or 3 quick remarks.
Please.
What we are sharing with you is something we are sharing with the world. We've had the opportunity to present this in a conference in Tajikistan. The Asian Institute of Alternative Dispute Resolution wanted to hear us, invited us to present this to them. And so I think it's appropriate that locally we also share this information. And as I think Alan's mentioned, it's new, it's evolving, it's developing. And one other dimension which we can add to the mix of this debate or this conversation is that now with the emergence of AI and large language modules like ChatGPT and the rest, the smart contract capabilities are going to hit the roof, so to speak. In other words, many of the things that we do now manually, in a year or 2 from now, can easily be carried out by the smart contracts. But we hold the view that the mediators are still very important to the process. And so we are not advocating a complete automation of the mediation process yet. We are emphasizing on automating some of the processes which will enable more efficiency in the process. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
And thank you so much.
I've just got one more comment here. No, that's it. Thank you very much, gentlemen. That's been absolutely brilliant. I've enjoyed it. This video will be is being recorded, and all the participants will be sent a link subsequently with it. And Charles, I can see, has already shared the link to the slides, which I think we'll be able to share it as well with the email when it goes out. So I think I will I'll wrap up then if anyone's got no objections, and we'll call it a day. But thank you very much. I very much enjoyed it, and have a good evening all. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye. See you.
Bye.
Bye bye.